I just want to remind us of Lumen Gentium, the Constitution on the Church, paragraph 27, which basically says that bishops are vicars of Christ. We are not branch managers of the Vatican. And I'll quote, "Bishops as vicars and ambassadors of Christ govern the particular churches entrusted to them by their counsel, exhortations, example, and sacred power. This power, which they personally exercise in Christ's name, is proper, ordinary, and immediate, although its exercise is ultimately regulated by the supreme authority of the Church. The pastoral office, or the habitual and daily care of the sheep, is entrusted to them completely, nor are they regarded as vicars of the Roman Pontiff." In that regard, I think we do have a responsibility to take care of our sheep. Our Holy Father has called us to accompany our sheep. Our people are crying out for some action.
I dream of a day when a bishop who's having trouble in his diocese and finds himself under kinds of accusations in the press would go to the brothers of his region and say, "Brothers, do you think I should resign? I'd like to know what you think, because I want to do what's good for the church and not just to protect myself. I lived through a very difficult situation in my own diocese, and that sort of attitude would have really helped in my own situation." But also, I dream of a day when we as brothers are strong enough to say to another brother in our region, "We think you should resign," even if he's not ready to hear that. We think that, in fact, these things are serious enough that you should resign.
Did this come to be because we have certain bishops or priests who don't see anything wrong with anything consensual sex between adults? It might be they themselves were compromised. Others, ambitious clerics on the ecclesiastical escalator, doing everything to contain things and not saying anything, and then moving up the ladder. And then maybe, sadly, the realization that some who were involved in this didn't think anything really, what did it do with my vocation? And the final point is our concern with parents, those good faith-filled families that continue to encourage their sons and daughters to priestly and religious vocations. They do have a concern about what is happening here this week, and a concern that we as the body of bishops leading and as their shepherds take very seriously these issues, and that they want to continue to provide and to encourage those vocations. And again, these are faith-filled parents that are committed to the church, that are very understanding and patient. But my feeling is, judging from their conversations, they're running out of patience.
The one overarching thing I want all of us to remember is, of course, the necessity of the laity in helping us get out of this mess. I think we all believe that. We all talk about it. But unfortunately, in concrete structures, we don't actually do it. And I very much support the idea that you have announced with the task force. Is there any way, maybe our bylaws don't allow for it, but is there any way to get 2 or 3 competent lay people to assist you in your tasks? Specifically, what I'm concerned about is what several have brought as a proposal is a study. Archbishop Hebda mentioned it yesterday in his beautiful homily, that we need to study the root causes of the abuse of power by U.S. hierarchy.
It's part of our deposit of faith that we believe homosexual activity is immoral. The people, those that we label homosexual, are children of God, and they need our great care. But to me, that real care comes from acknowledging the sin and the reality that all of us are sinners, called from sin to virtue. I think the question with the McCarrick situation is, how did he get promoted? How did all that happen? If we really all are of one mind that this is wrong and sinful. There seem to be questions about that, and I think we have to face that directly. Do we believe the doctrine of the church or not? There's a priest that travels around now basically saying that he doesn't. And he seems to be very well promoted in various places. Brothers, I think part of the fraternal correction or the fraternal support we offer each other is to say, can that be presented in our diocese? That same-sex marriage is just fine, and the church will one day grow to understand that. That's not what we teach, and I think we really have to ask those serious questions. Condemning no one. We get berated for bigotry that is not real. Jesus Christ brings good news to the world. With the recent youth synod, confusion and difficulty, and all of that is what I heard. I didn't hear much about the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He lived, died, and rose so that we could be free from sin and death. I think the more we can share that good news, the more we can overcome the tragic things that we're facing now.